Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Soo, your East Oakland advocate. You have a great Thanksgiving. Well, this week kicks off the finale week for a lot of reality shows that from the fall lineup, and the fall lineup has been the savior for TV essentially. If it wasn't for a lot of the reality shows or the variety of reality shows, it would have been very difficult finding anything to really watch on TV that was interesting. But anyway, uh, some shows that are ending this week is Survivor, or not this week, but next week they'll be ending. Same with Amazing Race, but this week ending is uh, Special Forces, World's Toughest Test, and I pay especially a close attention to that one because I have a close relationship with that. Because what they show on that particular reality show, there's no prize. There's literally no prize. This is all for pride, uh, and that's it. And it's a difficult test. I was amazed at the dropout rate this season. This is the second season for Special Forces, and I was surprised to see it come back. But I was actually surprised and happy to see it come back, and it was interesting. Just the lineup this for season two was a pretty weak group. Just looking at them and sizing them up from the TV, personally, I would just dismiss the whole group because I didn't see anything there. And tonight, Monday night, is the finale for Special Forces World's Toughest Test, and so I'll be watching to see who is selected, if anybody is selected. Right now, they have five candidates still in place, and last week's episode they were all captured. And so now it's the resist and escape portion, which is for tonight. So this is going to be interesting to see what really happens. Um, but the other thing is if you are interested in becoming a contestant on either Survivor or Amazing Race, it is open for you to apply. And all you have to do is just go to the show, which is survivor.com, and look for contestant and apply for next season's to be a contestant for next season, or the Amazing Race. And the Amazing Race, I love that show because you get to visit all different portions of the world that you may never see, but you learn things about each country, and uh, some of the things that you may not even the knowledge you may not even acquire if you were to travel there. But Amazing Race is really a fun show to watch, and it's interesting every week because you can literally go from first to last and get eliminated, or go from last and become first, which has been happening throughout the season. But yes, in last week's episode, it was a lot of confusion because language barriers. When you're traveling in other countries, language barriers is very difficult, and none of the contestants are able to use a cell phone for uh, mapping and directions. So they really have to be creative. But anyway, if you have some skills, you're a great outdoors person, you have great social skills, Survivor may be a great show for you. In fact, a lot of you know, I was a possible contestant. I think it was back in season 31 or 32. It was. It was a while ago. It was back in 2017 when I was going through all of the interview process, and it was very interesting. They do a full background check on you. Number one, you have to have something interesting about you that grabs their attention. And so, what grabbed their attention for me was that I put homeless I put homeless in my occupation. And then next to it, I put worked in counterterrorism. And so that got their interest. And they contacted me the very next morning. I mean, after I sent that, it wasn't 12 hours before I got a response back from the people in charge of casting for that for that next season, and so that started the process. And one of the coolest things was at that time I had electricity. I also had a Wi-Fi system. I had a little pocket or the little portable uh, uh, personal MiFi, and that was from Verizon. I didn't have it very long because it was very expensive and you didn't get much time, but it got me enough time that I could get through the Skype interview with the casting people at Survivor. And I moved to the next round and the next round, and finally uh, we had completed everything. And also the question came up: do you have your passport? You need to have your passport. And that came in an email, and that was the only thing that I did not have in my possession at the time, but I had applied for it already. It was just I hadn't received it yet, and that was one of the things that they really needed. And then the other thing that was a concern for the show producers was my colostomy bag, because if you watch a show, there's a lot of times when the men are literally shirtless, and so there would I would not be one of those contestants that could go shirtless because of my colostomy bag. And then that was another thing, because we're gone for more than a month, so I would have had to take in uh, extra supplies with me on the trip, and and I would have to have access to that. And so that's probably the disqualifiers, more so than anything else, is they were aware of my highly skilled background in uh, as being a special operator attached to the United States Air Force 24th STS. So they background checked all of that, and they were able to find some information, and it was pretty thorough background check. I can tell you, they found things that I had forgotten about, but they weren't any big deal because I had a very clean uh, background check. The only concern was, is here I was, and I told them that I am a federal firearms license, and I carry. Um, and in the interview, they asked me, "Are you carrying right now?" I said, "Yes, I live on the street. I have to carry, and I'm licensed for my carry." And so I stood up and showed them my holster and my holstered weapon in that interview. And they didn't seem to have any concerns, but it could have been a concern. So these are things that you need to be aware of. You don't need. We are definitely. I am not telling you to lie about anything, but you do need to be truthful about any question they ask you to further in the process. And it was 3 interviews, and they were telling me that I needed to have my passport in hand, and that they would be back in contact with me in the next couple of weeks. Well, unfortunately, I think all of those factors were the ones that eliminated me from the actual show, because they were really excited about me and having me on the show, because they asked about my what airport I would fly out of, uh, and a bunch of questions, and so it was interesting, and the process was very exciting. And I wish I would have gone, but now I'm at an age where it's not possible, and there are some age limitations. Survivor is and Amazing Race are one of the few shows where I see folks that are more senior, more my age, able to participate in those. But it's only been recent on Survivor, and the seniors don't last very long in these reality shows because they have things that handicap them, and the younger, faster uh, contestants get rid of the old folks. Typically, I'm surprised that on Survivor, Bruce, he's a holdover. He came over from last season. If you remember, season 44, he was the very first contestant out because he got a major head injury on the very first contest, and so he was removed from episode or season 44 because of medical reasons. And then he came back in 45. But it's been interesting because everybody on Survivor 45 knew him because they saw Survivor 44. And it's been amazing that Bruce has lasted this long, and he's on the chopping block. A lot of people don't want him to go any further. So it's going to be interesting to see this Wednesday what happens with Bruce, because Bruce doesn't have a lot of people supporting him. Amazing Race. There's some amazing couples racing in here. The one that I'm really favoring or rooting for is a father-daughter combination. The daughter is taking time out from her marriage and her family to do Amazing Race with her dad, and her dad is my age, around my age, and so and it's been hard on him, but he's been doing pretty well, and so I'm really rooting for the couple, or the father-daughter couple that are racing in Amazing Race. But anyway, it should be an exciting week and 2 weeks here as things are wrapping up from the fall TV lineup. And let me tell you, the fall TV lineup has been pretty thin. And many stations, because the different strikes that were going on in place, had resorted to using overseas European versions of shows that we have here in America, such as Ghost. We actually are currently watching the original Ghost series that was aired in the UK, United Kingdom. That's where it originated, and then it was copied and duplicated here in America the following season because it was so successful in England. But it's been very successful here in America. And if you watch the UK version, now you can understand the Americanized version. It's a lot of fun, and it's interesting to see the similarities and the dissimilarities to the different shows. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed following along with some of these shows. If not, hey, let's watch together, and I'm going to talk about the final outcomes here later as things wrap up. So anyway, thanks for joining me today. We'll be right back.